Welcome back to Live from the CCCA. This is Dan Marshall, the Executive Artistic Director of the Cambridge Community Center for the Arts, broadcasting on Cambridge Community Television. And today is June 8th, 2021, another Tuesday evening. We're so happy. We had just enjoyed a wonderful performance by Johara. Johara, her stage name means jewel. So as you can see, I'm wearing a jewel mask today in honor of Johara, the talented instructor, choreographer, dancer, performer, producer, percussionist, and also great friend. Today's show will feature a special interview and interactive lesson with Johara, where we'll delve into the history of Middle Eastern, raqs, sharqi, and American belly dance through Johara's journey as a dancer and musician, and learn some of the traditional rhythms and dance moves of this art form. Welcome, Johara. How are you doing?
Good. It's so nice to be here in the studio again after this, COVID break, shall we say.
Yeah. You've been teaching virtually most of this time, and recently started to teach in person again at the dance complex, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm excited to be back and coming back to this very studio soon.
Yeah, we greatly look forward to it. And let's just delve into the questions.
Okay.
What is belly dance and how did it get its name?
So, belly dance originally was coined by the French. They coined it danse du ventre. Excuse my French. I speak Spanish, not French. Which means literally dance of the stomach.
Oh, danse du ventre.
Uh-huh.
Du ventre, the stomach.
Thank you very much. I'm terrible at French. So this was, there was an Orientalist period where the Europeans were fascinated with the East in general and Middle East in particular. And there's paintings, depictions of women with veils and all kinds of things to decorate them, things that weren't even found at that time. And writers and the Orientalist period. So this danse du ventre kind of goes along with the Orientalist ideas. But later, let's say in the Middle East itself, it's called, the performance style is called raqs sharqi, which means dance of the East. Also in Turkey. And Egypt and Turkey are kind of considered like the origin countries. But, so what is belly dance? I will say the name belly dance is a term that we use in America. It's used in Europe, and it's kind of a general term. So somebody that's a belly dance instructor or dancer, performer, might be in, there's 3 different kind of general camps. So you might be a raqs sharqi or Middle Eastern style, which means you're really trying to adhere to the mother countries, Egypt or Turkey. So you might have an Egyptian or Turkish style or a mixture. And then you have the American cabaret, which definitely mixes Egyptian and Turkish style as well as American influences. And that will also depend on the dancer. She brings her own influence. If they studied ballet or they studied jazz, kind of bring a little bit of that into it. Or American tribal. And tribal is further broken. I won't go into that because I'm not a tribal dancer, although I've studied some. So coming back to what is belly dance, which is complicated. It's a dance form that derived its movement vocabulary from Middle Eastern dance, both folkloric and also the popular social dances. And in Egypt, it's passed, the social dances and folk movements are passed down from mother to daughter, from grandmas, aunts, in the home, and also for the men. Sharqi is really a performance style, so that's really a style that it draws its movements from that folk and social dance. So it's a complicated answer.
Well, I like the answer, and I learned something new because I always thought that Sharqi was just a synonym, but you just qualified that that's more the performance art, whereas the folkloric dance is the stuff that's being done at home and passed down from generation to generation. Festivals, exactly. So community
events.
Right. Versus like performing in a club or regular show. That was not the standard per se, right?
Yes. And there's two key points that I left out that separate belly dance or Sharqi from other dance styles like ballet, modern jazz. One is individuality. So it's each dancer, even in Egypt or Turkey, the famous dancers kind of make their mark on the dance. Like they have their signature moves, like there's the Soharzaki hip drops, and they sort of become part of the vocabulary. It's really important to have your own individual style, which is what drew me to it. And the other, unlike ballet, where often you have to be all symmetrical, the same,
Right.
And the interpretive, improvisational aspect. So as a dancer, as a belly dancer, you must be able to dance to live music, to interpret the music. Interpreting the music, for me, belly dance is a way that I can make visual the music which I'm hearing, which I'm feeling, hopefully in every cell, every pore of my body. I'm expressing the music in a three-dimensional visual form. I came to the dance having studied jazz, and like jazz, Middle Eastern dance has this improvisation where the musicians play and we interpret each sound, each texture of the oud or the clarinet or the flute. The rhythm of the drum is coming through our body, and so.
That's beautiful, yeah. So it's tied to the music, and also because a lot of the music is improvised, or there's sections of the music that would be improvised.
Absolutely.
And that creates this really healthy and rich and detailed dialogue between the dancers and the musicians, which is, I know it's a very special.
You said a key word, dialogue.
Right, it's a sacred relationship.
Yeah.
I know
especially between the drummer and the dancer. Similar to West African. And I forgot to bring in that not only Egypt and Turkey, which are considered the motherlands, North African has a lot of influence in the Sharqi too.
Oh, so North
Morocco,
African, Morocco,
Algeria, yeah. They brought in other movements that are part of the style.
And
so,
can you elaborate more about the type of dance movements that you have in belly dance? You started talking about it a little.
Yeah, so we have percussive movements mostly of the hips and chest and shoulders. We have fluid movements, serpentines, snake arms, belly rolls, hand waves, undulations. We have travel steps, as you saw in my choreography, and you have some movements that are brought in from ballet, which kind of started with the Russians over in Egypt. Russian ballet came in and started working with folk companies, so that came in there. But in the United States, we might add a little ballet.
Wow.
So those are most. Oh, and did I mention shimmies? That's another very unique thing. The shimmying or shaking of either just the lower part of the body and isolating. There's a lot of isolation, or just the chest. Even in Iran, they have a lip shimmy and an
Really?
eyebrow shimmy. They shimmy the eyebrow.
Wow.
And there are men dancers too. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, remember
You know?
we had a great workshop that you brought to our old art center in Brookline.
Amir Talib of
Right,
Argentina,
in
yeah.
Taleb, that was incredible, and he even taught scarf work, and different outfits for the men, right? It's kind of like what you would see in the Sultan's court. He was wearing a very rich outfit and sometimes a dagger, very beautiful outfits. Your outfit is gorgeous. So that's an outfit that you work together
With
to create.
Shadia. With
Shadia,
Shadia.
a local designer, right?
Yeah, Shadia is a designer, also a teacher, and was a performer for many years.
And creates those custom outfits for each individual dancer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tome beadwear.
yeah, she's amazing. And what's props? Because belly dance, it incorporates a lot of props, traditional props, and
And
even
some,
fixtures, even furniture sometimes,
That's true. That's true. So there's the veil, which is used more in the United States, and it was first kind of brought in the golden era of belly dance, in the golden era of film in Egypt. You would see veils used. They were really kind of pleasing a European audience, so the dancers didn't often dance with veils, but they did for the European audience. Americans love the veil. They can be silk or polyester chiffon. And I happen to really love the veil. And I love doing the Arabic rumba, which is the part in the cabaret style belly dance where we do veil work. There's the cane, raqs asaya, which is modeled after a folkloric stick dance with these huge sticks. It's a martial art, actually. It's not even a dance.
And
So
sometimes there's also the sword, the equivalent with a sword as well, right? The
right.
dance. Yeah.
The Saidi dance was originally a martial arts on horseback, and so the dancer took from that and made it into a nice shiny cane.
Wow.
The swords, they say, I'm not sure, they say they come from, it could be the Gawazi, I'm not sure, but balancing of all kinds. We balance swords on our head, we balance trays, big like Egyptian tea trays, and what else? Oh, the candle.
Chandeliers,
Yeah, the
candelabras.
shamadan. The shamadan was actually brought in, was a famous dancer who started using it, and everybody started copying her. So like I said, things change. And now, you know what's new, Dan?
What?
Now they're actually incorporating, it's not even new anymore, but giant wings, which you might see.
Right, like Wings of Isis.
Wings of Isis, there's giant wings, or fan veils, which come from Chinese dance. And poi, P-O-I, I think it is, that come from Indonesian dance. So it's constantly changing. These are more, less traditional, but yet used a lot.
But also speaks to like kind of the origins of gypsy culture and how it traveled all around the world, where it's going all the way from India to Spain, and that also always has some influence on belly dance, right?
I'm glad you mentioned that. So the balancing things is always a crowd pleaser. If you're in the street trying to get money from people walking by, you start balancing something and people stop. So that's one thing. There's also a movement called the head slide, which was brought in through Indian dance, they believe, too.
Yeah, very common in Indian dance. And as far as like, is it true, and I heard it before many years ago actually, that belly dance was originally used to prepare women for childbirth?
Well, so you're going to get different answers to that. So I believe that there's some truth in it. They've even found references of similar dance to belly dance in the Bible. There's been a few books written on it, one by a good friend of mine. And so about 6,000 years ago, it is believed by some that pagan, matriarchal, agricultural societies, which often worshipped female deities, did movements preparing the woman's body for childbirth. And these movements are strikingly similar in the way that they were described or depicted to belly dance. More research needs to be done.
Right, but it's definitely plausible. I mean,
It certainly
it's
is.
an amazing. I find that belly dance, and having done it as a man back in the day, that it's very different than stomach exercises that you do in a gym. You know, because it really
Absolutely.
works your stomach in and out, but it also keeps call it an organic shape. It's not about getting those, you know, the six pack. It's
No.
more about real strength, core strength, and agility, and you know, being able to be malleable and do anything you want, right? So
You just led me to a point that is important to remember, that the body type, which now every body type, I mean, I thought, oh, I'm too skinny to do belly dance. Belly dance, you cannot have I mean, it's hard if you have the six pack.
right,
If you don't have that extra fat, it helps to have a layer, some loose fat on top of the muscle. So so you have to be strong, and there's a lot of muscle there. But if you have the loose fat, you've got something to shake.
right, right.
So if you don't,
It's the
you've got to
flavor.
put a lot of stuff on it, like I do, to add a little extra. But so the body type traditionally in Egypt, the women are much larger than you might see, especially compared to like ballerinas. But, you know, so it's athletic. There is a lot of training that goes into being a good belly dancer, but there's still a softness, and it's very important. I can't stress this enough. We try to look like we don't sweat. And this is traditional, to look like, oh, you just got up and like, oh, you want me to dance? You know, you're sitting in a party and you get up and then you show your stuff, but you don't look like it's hard. You look like it's easy.
Huh.
So people get fooled and they think, oh, belly dance is easy. It does take a lot of training to be a good dancer. But
It's true. It's true. And I mean, when did this? Well, it became a craze after a while, right? When did it come to the U.S. at first?
So, just to give a little history in Egypt briefly, in Egypt it became quite an art form in the 20s with a woman named Badia Masabni. Was a woman, which was incredible at that time. She started all these big casino opera and these big five-star clubs, nightclubs, with a lot of European in the audience. And she had belly dancers, and some of the most famous belly dancers, Samia Gamal,
Yeah.
Tahia Carioca, were on her stages. She actually had a choreographer from Hollywood come in and do a little bit of light choreography with them, even though they were still improvising, so that they would have a nice stage show. He brought in the two-piece shiny costume. Before that, there was no belly showing, actually. It was all, they weren't covered. So the two-piece, what we call bedla, was brought in by an American Hollywood choreographer. Comes to the United States, most famously in 1893 in the Chicago World's Fair, where you also had Thomas Edison and other great shows.
Oh yes.
You had the famous Little Egypt. Little Egypt, news of Little Egypt spread all over the United States. And in this Victorian time, it was shocking to see someone like move that part of the body. And they had a name for it, and I bet you don't know this. It was called Hoochie Coochie.
I didn't know that.
And
So
then
that was the
later,
name for it. Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
later we know Hoochie Coochie in the blues. Hoochie Coochie meant someone that was moving the pelvis.
Wow.
As far back as the Victorian era, that was, yeah. So later, in the late 50s, you have Jamila Salampur in California, who was, who started later, she's considered the mother of tribal. You had women like Morocco in New York City, all the different cities all over the United States who had these belly dancers, that in this belly dance craze, like, and you had all these, and you had a woman named Ozel in New York. She's actually from Turkey. And the scene was, you had these musicians that came from different countries. You had Syrians, Greeks, Armenians, maybe some Egyptians, not so many yet. And they started playing together. And so the rhythms kind of and this is where American cabaret starts. You have a mixture of different musicians. You have a mixture of different dancers from different countries. And then the American dancers, which we're learning by watching. originally, and
Nice.
soaking it in. And later, much later, we start having classes. We start having people from Egypt come over, big stars in the 1990s. It wasn't until the 90s that you really get like the Egyptians coming over. Before that, it's like you soaked up what you could, and you embellished, and you put a little of your own style. So
Is that, I mean, is that what drew you to it? I know you said you started with jazz dance, but is all this individuality and improvisation and the accessories, what drew you to starting to learn belly dance?
well, what girl doesn't love sparkles? Let's face it. Come on. And boys.
Sparkles and
I
bellies,
think
right.
human beings love sparkly things. But I was actually studying jazz music, vocals. I love the improvisational aspect. I saw it at the Middle East restaurant, and I saw this little band, and the improvisational part with the drum, and I was like, wow, I am going to do that. It was at the Middle East restaurant in the back. They used to have Greek night, and then they had Lebanese. The Greeks would leave, the Lebanese would come in, and both were amazing experiences. So I started there, and I studied with many different people. Went to New York to study with the choreographer Yusri Sharif, who's amazing.
Yeah, I've heard that name before. And when was it that you transitioned to teaching and dancing professionally, belly dance?
Well, I danced at the Middle East restaurant in 1995. That was the first time I did a professional show. I did some student shows, I think, around maybe the same year, 94. So by the late 90s, I'm not even sure what year, 98, 97, I was dancing at the Karoon restaurant. I was a regular.
Karoon, yeah.
The
yeah.
Karoon restaurant, which just is no longer. And many different private parties, and I was dancing at the Middle East, and I began at a Lebanese and Moroccan nightclub. And the audience was mainly what we have in Boston for the Middle Eastern scene, which is Lebanese and Moroccan, and mixed some others. There was a live band, and I really got my chops dancing at Leolina restaurant on how to dance to Arabic music. Then at the Middle East and other places, I was dancing more American cabaret, Turkish style.
I see.
So I have those two styles really in my background: Middle Eastern, paying homage to raqs sharqi, as well as the American cabaret, sort of this blend of Turkish, Greek, little Middle Eastern, little this, little that.
And you became, and I know this because you're one of my oldest friends in Boston, from we met in the year 1998, I believe, and did some shows together. You're a prolific choreographer. You started doing stage shows many years ago, and with director, choreographer, producer of Snake Dance Theater Company, your own theater company. Can you talk a little about that show?
Well, thank you, Dan.
I mean, those performances. Yeah.
Well, I love painting, and for me, choreography is like painting with the bodies, with the costumes. You have the composition on the stage, the color, the movement, the shapes, and then you have the music and the sounds that inspire those shapes. So it's like music and the visual arts kind of come together. So that's what excited me about choreography. I started in 2001 with 2001 Belly Dance Odyssey, Celestial Bodies. And so I've done a lot of different things over the years, but the one that you were in was East Meets West.
East Meets West, yes.
America Arabian style.
Yeah.
So talking about the interplay and how they influenced each other in the golden era in the 30s, 40s, 50s. Yeah. But each show has been unique and different, and I did from 2001, I produced shows until 2015 was my last show, Dances for the Dead. My biggest show, I would say, was A Gypsy in Cairo.
I remember that one, yeah.
That involved writing a screenplay type, it was a dance play, I would call it. So my shows kind of varied from either dance plays or thematic, where I choreographed a lot for my company, but I had guests come in, and
Yeah,
And
you
we
give an
added-
opportunity to you know, tens of dancers, you know, probably 100 or more dancers in the area, right, to perform, to collaborate on your own choreography, on yours, right?
I worked with some really great dancers, and
Yeah.
it was exciting because nobody was doing it here. I had gone out to LA and seen some of the shows in restaurants, and I thought to myself, why not bring it to the stage with the lights and the, you know, choreography. I would leave room for some improvisation as well, and I always wanted to be an actress, so I was kind of combining like things that I love to do.
Wonderful, and thank you again. We have a jam-packed show today, and kind of want to give a flavor to the audience. I know the last thing we broadcast on live from the CCCA was your intro to belly dance, half-hour production. But right now we're gonna do it in the style of the live shows like Johnny Carson and Dean Martin, and you can have me try some stuff. So when we join you back in a minute or two, we're going to delve into the rhythms and movements of belly dance. So thanks again, Johara, and we'll see you all. Yeah, me too.
Stick around, we'll teach you a few moves.
We're back with Johara for the action part of this live from the CCCA June 8th show. Thank you so much for your appearance today, and for all the interesting facts we learned in the first half. And now it's time to get to the nitty-gritty of it, the rhythms of belly dance, right? So you're going to teach us something, right?
Yes. So the first rhythm we're going to do is called maksum. It's in the family of the balladi, which means village rhythms. And it's usually played fast. We're going to play it a little slow today. But so we have, let's talk about the sounds. We have the doom. Can you do that? Imagine it's like a hot iron, kind of relaxed, drawing out the sound. And now we have our strong hand. I'm left-handed, but we have tek with the fingertips. Now, just to keep things in track, we have the ka. We call it ka with the other hand. So tek ka. So we have boom, tek ka. All right. So now we're ready to roll.
Which one is first?
So we're gonna do, and we also have a slap, but you don't need to do that if you don't know. Okay. So we're gonna go. Here's the rhythm. Listen first. Hold that down, Dan. Keep playing.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Let's go to our second rhythm for today. We're going to do shift to telly. Now, the first one was very Arabic, Egyptian. This one, you do find in Egypt, but it's really from the Ottomans and still popular in Turkish-style belly dance, and you find it in Greece and among the Romani people in Turkey. All right, so we have, listen first. That's the basic rhythm. Use your weak hand. Sing it.
Nice. That's cool.
So now, I love shift to telly. The next one I'm going to do is called the rumba. Rumba, you know, went all over the world in the 1930s, rumba dance. So it's coming from, you know, Cubano style, but, you know, it got changed here in the United States.
It's like a bolero kind of rhythm.
Yeah,
right?
it's not like the authentic rumba I learned with when I was doing drumming with New Felipe, that's for sure.
Right.
All right, so there's either 2 dooms or 3. We're gonna do the two, and 1.
And these are Dumbek drums, right?
Oh yes, these are
beautiful.
The newer style, beautiful design here. These are from Egypt.
Nice.
The next one that we're gonna do is what is it, Dan? What's on our list?
We've got we did the shifty, we did the rumba.
Saidi.
Saidi.
Okay, so this is this is one of my favorite. You hear a lot of Saidi today in pop music in the Middle East. So it's a heavier rhythm. I'm also going to do cake to it. So it's there's 4 dooms in total.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a slap instead of a doom, but it's traditionally doom, 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 doom. I'm going to add the 10. That's the bass. Now I'm going to add the slap.
To do the full rhythm. Yeah, that's
there's a
my
few
favorite.
More, little embellishments.
Yeah, so we can put those into movements, right? Are you gonna get me up and dancing?
Yeah, let's dance. There's a whole lot more rhythms, but you'll have to come to my drum circle.
Welcome back. We're back with Johara, and now it's time to put all these lovely rhythms into action in our bodies.
That's right. Okay, you ready, Dan?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. This is gonna be fun. Okay. Okay.
Fun fact is that I turned it down, but my first job offer was actually to belly dance when I was 11. Yeah.
Get ready. We're gonna hip up, hip step, hip step, hip step. Let's go back. We'll do drop it. All right. Egyptian walk. All right, Egyptian walk. Are we gonna go this way? That's it. Get in place. Let's do hip drop. Nice. Switch. Fast turn around. Forward and back. Turn. Turn. Shimmy. Left foot. Turn. Left, right, left. Shimmy. Now it's a shimmy. Right foot. 3 times. Then we turn. Turn all around. That's it. Left foot. And we turn. Now you. Close.
Hey.
Alright, so now we're going to slow it down a little bit and do something more sensual.
Okay.
We'll shift Italian. We'll start with the basic figure 8. Now we call it figure 8, but that doesn't really translate. Maybe infinity. So feel like you're on the beach, digging your feet into the sand. Good. Now let's do an upward 8. Looking out of the floor. Use the floor. Breathe and use the floor as your dance partner. Ready to shimmy a little bit there?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to start with the Egyptian shimmy. Legs going back and forth. You can even combine that. Nice! Woo! I think he's going to put me out of business. Add on to a little bit of figure 8 with our shimmy. Good. And rolling the shoulders. Let's do undulations. I remember you're really... All right. I remember that, Dan.
That's one of my favorite moves.
I know. I remember that. Snake arms. On the side. Good. And we can add the hands to a lot of our movements. The hands frame the movements in belly dance or rock sharqi. And they really express the heart. Alright, let's end with a shimmy. And a pose. Alright, let's go up to our next really up-tempo, a Saidi. So for this we need our canes, Dan.
Alright.
Alright, so
Here you go.
I'll take the silver one, match my costume. So this is the folkloric step. We're going to hold it kind of at a diagonal here. Woo! Turning around. Remember, this is based on martial arts. All right, ready to twirl? You're going to go twirl. Oh, you got it already. I thought I was going to
I used to do martial arts.
There it is. 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
1, 2. Drop the hip. 5, 6, 7. Let's go. Egyptian walk. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 5, 6, 7, and twirl. Forward and back.
Okay, so.
Ha! Overhead.
One.
And undulate. Hip, hip. Across the body. We're going to finish with across the body. Lean back. Woo! Hold it. All right. Woo.
That was awesome.
And now we're going to do a little choreography, Dan. You're going to follow me?
Yeah.
We're going to go around each other. Hip, hip. Forward. Nice. Shimmy. Yay! Hip circle. Accents. Nice. Turn around.
Before we finish off here and have a little more fun, I want to thank Juliet Cusick, that's her name, but her stage name is Johara Jewel. Thank you so much for all you've done for the community and for coming here and performing and teaching us about the history today. And let's leave you off with the next song so that we just dance off and improvise.
Join us at
And
home.
please join us at home.
This is some tarkan from Turkey. Freestyle.
Şimdi sabah